Okay, so today's session is about preparing for the UL Careers Fair, which is on tomorrow from 11 to 3:30 p.m. Before I go into a bit more detail about the Careers Fair, you probably know this already, but just in case you don't, some of the graduate programs, the closing dates are very, very early. Not all of them now. I know that every year a lot of final year students get into, feel quite stressed about, how early the graduate program closing dates are. It's just a few of them that are really early. So, for example, Accenture, their closing date is today. Most of the big four, the accountancy, consultancy firms, their closing dates, I think they're starting, oh yeah, their closing dates are next week. So they're only specifically for those organisations. But again, you need to double check beforehand to find out what the closing dates are. If you're new to Ireland, it's just this whole kind of, at careers fairs early on in the semester, early closing dates, it's known as the milk round. It just means that a lot of the bigger graduate employers, they like to have they like to have their recruitment done, dusted, and finished by Christmas. So it means then that you may have a job offer by Christmas, and it means that you'll be starting then next August or September. But they just like to start early in the year, that's all. So just be aware, if you're interested in any of the big consultancy firms, some of their closing dates are quite early. A lot of them you will have to apply online through their websites or possibly through LinkedIn. Some may require a CV and a cover letter. Not all of them will. So again, you need to find out as much information as possible before applying and check with each specific employer to see what their requirements are. For example, some of them you may have to fill out an online application form, you may have to do some psychometric tests, you may have to attend an assessment centre, you may have to do a one-to-one interview. If you find yourself somebody in, can you turn your mics off please, guys? If anybody's just in, okay, that's fine, I'll keep going. Yeah, so just to let you know that if you need a hand at any step of the way in the selection process, if you've never completed a psychometric test before and you find yourself facing that, if you're asked to attend a virtual assessment centre, contact us and we can help you prepare for each step of the way. Okay, so many of them are very similar. So once you've done one, you should be pretty comfortable with doing the rest of them as well. Some of them will be a little bit similar to the profile that you're creating for the careers fair as well. So the careers fair is on tomorrow. At this stage, I think we have 140 plus employers. I'm assuming that most of you have gone into the Graduate Land platform to have a look at who's attending. So this year it's a virtual careers fair. So you won't actually be physically going anywhere. You'll be sitting in your bedroom, in your kitchen, maybe in an empty classroom, wherever. Try and find a quiet space because it's all going to be virtual tomorrow. When you're accessing the platform, make sure you log in using Chrome or Firefox. Okay, so why should you attend a careers fair? Well, number one, the UL Careers Fair is the biggest graduate careers fair in Ireland. It's a great opportunity to make contact with graduate employers in so many sectors. So again, we have lots of the big multinational companies attending tomorrow. We also have a lot of smaller employers as well. I think sometimes people assume that it's only the big companies who are taking applications and they're the only ones that you should speak to. But make sure if you have a specific interest in a certain area and you see a company that you're not familiar with, go and have a chat with them as well. So it's a great opportunity to find out what opportunities are available. It's also a great opportunity to have a chat with some of the representatives on, what the recruitment process is. Do they have any advice to candidates? What's it like working for that particular employer? So again, it's a great way before you make any applications to find out as much as possible and do your research on that company so you can submit a really, really good and a really, really focused application. So a good way to collect information, and also it's a great way for you to figure out, well, which companies appeal to me, what ones do I like. Okay, there may be several tomorrow that you're interested in, but it's a good way just to kind of, by talking to people in those particular organisations, to find out and to network, obviously. I'm assuming that most of you would have LinkedIn profiles at this stage. So if you are chatting to somebody virtually tomorrow, why not link in with them on LinkedIn as well? It's another contact for you to have. Okay, so what's the difference between a traditional careers fair and a virtual careers fair? If you look at these two images, the top image, that's the UL Sports Arena. That's what the UL Careers Fair used to look like 2 years ago. Basically, we had, hundreds of employers, all with stands, lots of students kind of going up to talk to the representatives at the stands. That's completely changed now since COVID-19. It's now a virtual platform, so it's very, very similar in one way, except obviously you're going to be speaking to somebody virtually face to face. The other thing that's really interesting though is employers can actually reach out to you as well. So once you've created your profile, you've uploaded your CV, you've registered for the fair, the employers who are attending, they can actually do a search to, and use kind of specific skills or degree titles that they're interested in, and they can actually see in advance who they would like to speak to. So it means that they can reach out to you as well. So with the old careers fair, you were the person making contact, maybe standing in a queue, waiting to find out about the organisation. With the virtual careers fair, they can also contact you in advance. So it works both ways, basically. Okay, so before the fair, you need to register on the Graduate Land platform, you need to complete a detailed profile, and you need to upload your CV. So your profile, you're really looking to get 100% completed of your profile. So it will tell you each step of the way what you need to do to complete your profile. I suppose the most important things really are, even upload a photograph. Okay, so it could be a photo from your LinkedIn profile, it could be a photo that you've just taken today. So upload a photograph, your demographic information, so when you'll be graduating, your degree title, your work experience. So again, it's very similar to an online application. You also need to upload your CV before you can fully register. Just a quick note on the profile. So the summary or the profile, it's very much like the profile that you would have in your CV or your LinkedIn profile as well. And it really is just a mini summary of who you are, what you're studying, any relevant work experience, any relevant skills. So it's kind of a short paragraph summing up exactly who you are and what skills you have to offer as well. So the skills section is a separate section, fill that in, but you can also include your skills in this summary section as well. So we always say that a summary or a profile, it's almost like a mini CV within your CV, but it just gives somebody a very brief overview of who you are, what you're studying, what skills you have, any relevant experience, and maybe what type of opportunities that you're looking for. So make sure to complete that summary section. Final part of the process is to upload your CV. Once you've done that, your registration is complete. If you want to edit your CV or edit your profile before the fair starts tomorrow, that's absolutely fine. You can do it right up until the fair begins. And this is a new function this year. You can also upload a video of yourself. Now that's optional. I spoke to a class of students that I was teaching last week, and nobody would feel comfortable uploading a video of themselves. So that's completely optional. If you don't want to do that, that's absolutely fine. But the option is there if you fancy uploading a quick video of yourself, introducing yourself, telling prospective employers a little bit about you. So it's just an extra function, but again, it's completely optional. Okay, so today is Wednesday. So since Monday, you should have been able to view the employer stalls on the Graduate Land platform. Now, I was in there earlier today, and I can see that not every employer has their stall open yet. That means, it'll probably be Thursday before they open their stall. But once if you do see somebody whose stall you're interested in, you should be able to see, the team that will be there on the day, how many jobs they're offering, details on the jobs. You should also be able to, for some of them anyway, or most of them, you may be able to book a video conversation in advance. So if there's a particular employer, whether it's a large employer or a small employer that you're interested in talking to on the day, when you go into the platform, if you see that they have available video conversations, it's only 10 or 15 minutes just for a chat, virtual face-to-face chat, and you want to talk to them, you can go in and book that now. Again, some of them don't have their stalls open yet, but hopefully by tomorrow, everybody will have their stall open. Okay, so what happens tomorrow? So it starts at 11 a.m. tomorrow, so it's on for 4.5 hours. So you've got basically the whole day really to attend. Again, because there are 140 employers, if you go into the Graduate Land platform now, you should be, obviously you're not going to get a chance to speak to everybody, and not everybody will appeal to you. So, go in, have a look, think about the different areas, the different types of employers that you're interested in, have a look at their stall. Again, they'll have lots of information on the jobs, the company, the people who are there to speak with you. They should have a frequently asked questions section. Some of them will have videos about their graduate programs or graduate jobs. So go in, have a look at the stall. If there is, a video conversation available, or you want the opportunity to chat with them, I would absolutely say yes, have a chat with them and think about what it is you want to ask. And remember, employers can also connect with you on the day. So once you're on the Graduate Land platform, have a look at your inbox, because somebody, they may be contacting you, they may ask you to meet for a virtual chat. Okay, so tips and advice for the day of the fair. So number one, do your research on the employers who'll be attending, figure out which ones you'd like to speak to. I suppose the questions that you don't ask are, tell me what do you do in your company? You should pretty much know that already. But what kind of questions would be good to ask somebody on the day? So it could be things like, can you tell me a bit more about your recruitment process? What kind of particular skills or interpersonal skills do you look for? Can you give me any advice? Do you have an assessment centre? What's involved in the assessment centre? What kind of psychometric tests do you use? What's the career path within your company? How did you begin your career? So there are a lot of things you can ask at the fair that can help you to build your information that will help in your application. And again, I suppose if somebody may say, look, tell us a little bit about yourself. So you just need to be clear about, okay, well, what skills do I have to offer? Okay, are they technical skills? Are they language skills, leadership skills? So again, just be clear. You may not be asked. It's not a formal interview, but if somebody's interested in you, they may be trying to find out a little bit about you. I suppose the other thing really is, if you are intending on speaking to, some of the employers, make sure that you find somewhere quiet to speak. There's no point doing it in the library where you have to be really, really quiet. So, you may want to do it from home. You may want to find a quiet classroom. You may want to find a quiet space in one of the cafes or canteens around campus. So just make sure you've got somewhere quiet where you can talk. Make sure that you've got, obviously, good broadband coverage. I suppose it's important as well to turn your camera on. If you're having a video conversation with somebody, make sure that you've turned your camera on. Now, obviously, I've met students over the last few weeks whose cameras aren't working for whatever reason. If your camera's not working, just explain that. But if it is working, make sure that you're actually, you're seeing them, they're seeing you, and they're hearing you. Now, you don't have to get dressed up for this, but I suppose, if you're really serious about a job, just think about what you're wearing. You don't have to dress like you're going for an interview, because it's not an interview. But again, just be conscious that you are talking to a potential employer. Okay, so the fair's on tomorrow. So CV clinics are over at this stage, but we'll be running CV clinics every week. So if you do want to get your CV reviewed by myself or one of my colleagues, you can make an appointment for the CV clinic at the Careers Connect website, and we will meet you virtually for a 15-minute one-to-one review of your CV and your LinkedIn profile if you want. You can also download the UL CV guide for help with creating a CV. I'm going to upload the slides after this session actually, so you'll have all the links. So you can make an appointment. The other thing is, if you haven't heard about this already, we've recently introduced a new software platform called Careerset, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's available 24/7. You literally log in with your student email. It's completely free of charge, and you will get immediate feedback It could be on anything from your spelling, from your layout. Did you use action verbs? Is it too long? Could you go into more detail? So it's a really fantastic service if you want to get some immediate feedback on your CV. Nobody is going to reach 100%, you know, so even if you get around 70%, that's a pretty good score. So just use it as a guide. You can upload it again after you've made changes and updated it to try and increase your score. But if you want to use the Careerset function, it's absolutely brilliant, and you might decide then to come and see myself or one of my colleagues afterwards. But if you need to get your CV reviewed immediately and there are no CV clinics available, this is a fantastic website. So I think that's it. I'm going to stop the recording and I'm going to take any questions.